Howdy friends, your City Manager Seth Sumner here with your daily COVID-19 update. It is May 1st, 2020, and we'll look at that new data set that I showed you yesterday that is coming from our state government. This is a new dashboard that you can find on tn.gov. But this is showing you, you can actually click on the individual counties to get individual data. It's the same data largely that you're going to get on the health department site, just a different way of looking at it. What we can see today, May 1st, that we now have 11,891 confirmed cases of COVID-19 across the state of Tennessee. We're now, unfortunately, looking at 204 fatalities from COVID. There have been 1,113 hospitalizations, and of this total, nearly 12,000 Tennesseans now, over 5,500 have fully recovered, thankfully. We do want to see that go up. But what should cause you a little bit of concern today, if you haven't been, if you feel like you're ready to go back to business, if you're ready to get back out in public, please pause and consider this. It's important for our economy to be reactivated, to get our folks back to work, but only in a responsible and safe manner where we're taking our #1 priority as public health. That's important. Because today, what we saw, we've talked about the last 2 days, it looks like a surge that was predicted for 2 weeks ago is actually occurring this week. Now, part of that can be related to having more and more tests being conducted. We're very proud of the amount of tests that Tennessee and right here in Athens that we've been able to conduct. And that's good to show us whether our population is positive or negative. Now, when we talk about why is it important if I don't have any symptoms to get tested, it's because we're, what we know in our local long-term care facility right here in Athens, and what we're also seeing in the prison population across the state of Tennessee, which was talked about on the press conference with the governor just a few minutes ago today, is that a lot of these people are not exhibiting symptoms. They are testing COVID-19 positive, but they are not exhibiting symptoms. They're asymptomatic. So it's important. We could be walking around right now with no symptoms and be carrying COVID-19. So I don't feel bad. Why does that matter? It matters because if I'm unaware that I have it and I go to a public place and I may cough or sneeze, or I may just be talking and droplets leave my mouth or nose and land on a surface, and somebody else comes along a few minutes later, unknowingly touches their face, and then becomes infected with COVID, I've passed it along. And then that person comes in contact with someone else. Maybe it's someone with a weakened immune system. Maybe it's somebody that's elderly. We know that this adversely affects different populations, especially our elderly population. And so we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can to know whether we have COVID or we don't, whether we're positive or negative, by getting tested. And then, further, that we are taking every precaution, that we are using our face masks, that we're using eye coverage if we're going out in public, such as eyeglasses are fine, safety goggles are fine, but protecting ourselves and protecting others from anything leaving our body, just in case we're unaware of whether we're carrying it. But this is what causes a lot of concern in me personally, is the numbers that we saw in the last 2 days, the increases in COVID-positive persons across the state of Tennessee, it being in the high 300 range. Today, 1,156 new cases today. In one day, 1,156 new cases in the state of Tennessee. I'll show you what this spike looks like on a graph in just a moment. 5 new fatalities across the state of Tennessee. Let's look at case by age. 0 to 10 range, very few infections. Our 31 to 40 are making up the largest portion, the largest age range of COVID positive persons. And of course that 21 to 30 is still leading the pack, though slightly. And then very few because I know you've been doing a great job. We've been talking about our elderly and how they need to be sheltered, how we need to be providing service to them to make sure that they're able to stay at home and not get out among the general population. And that means this shows that you're being responsible with that. You took that seriously. Thank you. You're protecting people's lives by doing that. That's what this is showing. Very few infections on that age range. New daily cases, though, this is going to show you a lot of what's happening in some of the nursing homes right now, is that spike right there for our elderly population. But then obviously our 21 to 30-year-olds and 31 to 40s are still, our 31 to 40s are actually showing the biggest increase today out of that 1,156 new cases. You can see how many total cases we've been looking at, and you can see there's a big increase in today over the last few days. This increase today is a greater increase than we've seen previously. Then, of course, we look at McMinn. McMinn we added 2 total, actually that one hasn't been updated, I don't believe. Let me get over to this next page. All right, here's what we're talking about. Since yesterday, 1,156 Tennesseans now testing positive. This is a huge increase. We have to be cautious. We have to be careful. As we're trying to reboot the economy, we're trying to allow business owners to reopen. And right now we're hearing from some of our industries who were already waiting to reopen, maybe pushing that back further now, because of what our data is showing right now, a bigger increase, a big spike this week. I believe, and we'll have to look back and find out in the next few days, but I believe that surge that was predicted 2 weeks ago is happening this week as businesses are allowed under executive orders of Governor Bill Lee to begin opening if they wish. So don't relax. Don't think it's over. We're not getting back to normal. We have to be more cautious now than ever. All right. We've added 208 fully recovered. That's a great job. Five Tennesseans since yesterday have lost their life to COVID-19. We have 68 more people today than yesterday utilizing our hospital resources. And we did have, good thing, over 8,500 Tennesseans tested since yesterday. So let's get on down into that other dashboard. So I was correct. That first dashboard we were looking at didn't update McMinn County. McMinn County is now at 94. So we've added 2 more COVID positive persons here in McMinn County. And we are now at 94. Let's scroll down and look at what that 1 day's worth of data has done. So here was the safe zone. This is where we were thinking we were going to see that surge, right in here. And it didn't occur. All right? So we got past it. The sheltering in place, the safer at home, whatever your community wants to call it, that was all utilizing the governor's orders. We were staying at home. We were being safe. We're being very cautious. We dropped it. We dropped that. The surge didn't happen. So what we see now We did caution on this uptick right here, this spike, and of course we're still collecting data. We're still getting results back from tests that happened during this time. But look at today. You can't tell me we're flatlining or we're on the back end of this thing now. That's what it looked like back here. Best data available, and this changes by the hour, folks. Honestly, by the hour, this information has changed. For the 47 days now that we've been engaged in reporting to you what this is looking like within our community and across the whole state, data continues to change. And so now what we're looking at, not even do we have these massive spikes in cases just in the last several days, but you can see right here in between those spikes, our data is still trending higher than what we've seen throughout the entire rest of the history of this pandemic in Tennessee. So please be cautious. Be aware that you need to be safer now than March and April when things were closed down, when businesses were not allowed to be open. Now they're being able to be open. We need to be even more cautious. Still, please continue to get delivery, pick up. Everything is by appointment only. Everything is by appointment only. So you call your local favorite business, you can still do business with them. They will love to hear from you. They need your business. Call them, set up an appointment, get a delivery, whatever it takes, so you don't have to get into the store, you don't have to go out, you don't have to risk coming in contact with COVID-19. All right. And then here we are, McMinn County, still showing one death. We do know that 2 have been confirmed here locally, and I am hearing possibly a 3rd. I will not be able to report that to you until I can confirm that. But I will be with you over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday again, since we are seeing this spike. I'm looking forward to the day when we don't have to come on and report back what's happening with COVID-19 because we're through. Because we're over that pandemic, we're past the surge. I'm very sorry to say that I believe that surge is happening right now and that we're still going to be talking about this for a few more days. But I'll be with you until we can get past this. 6 fully recovered, 94 total since the beginning of the pandemic have been diagnosed. This number right here, 1,362, is the total amount of negative tests. And we know right here in Athens, you got out, you're getting your tests, and we're testing at a higher rate than most of Tennessee. And that's a good thing. So we can know that, yes, in fact, I am COVID-19 negative. We need to know whether we're negative or positive so that we know whether we need to quarantine, and we understand that the difficulty in understanding, why I need to get tested even though I don't have the symptoms is because we're seeing a larger increase of folks testing positive who are asymptomatic without any symptoms. So it's still important, even though you don't feel sick, you don't have a fever, for you to get tested. You get tested right here in McMinn County. That's going to continue Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until noon at the McMinn County Health Department. Saturday, tomorrow morning, if you can't make the health department hours, go down to Bradley County to Cleveland Middle School, drive-through test. Just takes about a minute to get that test. Go down there and get tested. Stay in your car. You're not getting out. You're not putting anybody else at risk by just simply staying in your car, driving down there and get the test. It's free. Just takes a few minutes, but make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. All right. Outside of that, I did want to have an update, if I can get over to it. Here we go. On economics, on the Athens Economic Recovery Team. I told you those folks are here at work, or not actually here physically. they are in their own homes, in their own places of business, but collaborating online, looking at the things that Athens and McMinn County needs to be paying attention to as far as helping our businesses reopen successfully, but most importantly, protecting your health while that is occurring. And so we're using the governor's guidelines and executive orders. We're following all of that. That is the basis for which we're developing these materials and publishing those here on our Facebook page, in the Daily Post Athenian newspaper. You'll see it again there, and elsewhere. So please share this graphic when we post it. Please take it, share it for our business owners, and share it for our patrons. Everybody will benefit from the knowledge that is in this graphic. And so this is a partnership with Main Street Athens, with the Economic Development Authority, and with McMinn County. Been in constant correspondence with County Mayor John Gentry. Make sure that we're all staying on the same page, as well as with our health department and our business owners. We're staying in contact and making sure that we're being responsible and that we're able to help take care of their needs. So, again, our priority is your health. Your health is the #1 concern. We have to protect that. Without our health, we have nothing. So let's pay attention to these things. We're still strongly encouraging everyone to be mindful of responsible recovery. It's more than an economic recovery. It's making sure that we're taking care of our health. 6 feet between you and a friend. You and anybody else outside of your immediate family and your home. 6 feet apart at all times. Wear a cloth mask when you're out in public, even though you may be outdoors. If you're around anybody else outdoors, make sure you've got that cloth mask on for protection. Make sure you're washing your hands. 20 seconds warm water with soap. We know how to do that. Sing the happy birthday song. Wash those hands. Make sure you're being clean. The Tennessee Pledge is the basis for what we're offering here through the Athens Economic Recovery Team, and this is a team made up of the Council Advisory Committee here in the city of Athens. I appreciate all of those folks lending their time, their thought, and their skills, and I saw a flurry of emails back and forth today discussing what needs to be in this graphic and what do we need to be thinking about for the next few days and next week. And so there will be more and more coming out from this team over the next several days. So let's scroll down and see the rest of this graphic. There we go. Zoom in. All right, so this may be hard for you to see. We'll see if we can get this zoomed out a little bit. But this is an update as of today, May 1st. So today, gyms and exercise facilities are able to open if those owners would like under those state guidelines. All right, and I'll tell you about those state guidelines in just a second. All right, next Wednesday, May 6th, close contact businesses. I might finally be able to get that haircut. Ladies, you might finally be able to get those nails done. Massages, tattoos, all things of that nature that were specifically listed in the governor's executive order that were previously closed are now able to reopen if those owners, if those managers, if those business owners wish to reopen their business. There are state guidelines that must be followed, right? So we're going to be cautious. We know that there's guidelines for me, the consumer, and there's guidelines for the business owner of what we should do, how we should do it. And these are going to largely be appointment only. No walk-in business. You're going to call your favorite hairstylist. You're going to call your barber. You're going to call the nail salon. You're going to make an appointment. So don't make it hard on them to deliver these services to you. Make those appointments. Wednesday, May 6th, also. This was previously already scheduled for today. to allow dentists to start going back to work today. This has been pushed back. This is under advisement with the Dental Association here in Tennessee to make sure the dentists have enough time to get all their equipment ready, to sanitize their businesses, to make sure their staff is ready. And so that has now been pushed back. That's non-emergency dental visits. So that's your cleaning. That's your regular 6-month cleaning. Dentists will be able to start rescheduling those. Some of us have missed those over the last couple of months. Dentists can open under, again, state guidelines. What are these state guidelines you keep talking about? They're right here. I've pulled them up. I've showed them in earlier videos. We walked through those yesterday at length. The state guidelines are here, tn.gov. Go under the Governor's tab, and then COVID-19. And there's a couple more clicks will get you there, but there's so much information on this COVID-19 page for everybody. We know that there's a lot of folks still needing unemployment benefits, that are still looking for child care, health care related issues. There's a lot of information right here under this tab. tn.gov, Governor, COVID-19. Go there and look, and you will also find all of these guidelines for gyms and exercise facilities, close contact businesses, and dentists. You'll see all of those there. If you fall into any of these categories as a business owner or professional, go and understand those. Make sure your staff is aware and understands those. Make sure your staff's educated on these practices and guidelines, all right? That's really important. Still, please, if you can, at all, if it's not an emergency, if it's not essential, stay at home. That's the best way to stay safe, is in your home, in your residence. Get out in the yard. Get out in the yard. I know it's a beautiful time to start gardening. Get those vegetables planted if you haven't already. It's going to be a really nice weekend. Make sure you're away from other people, but be outside and be healthy. That's what this is about. COVID-19 still remains a threat. This novel coronavirus is still a threat to you, to me, to all people, and it will be into the future until we either become inoculated, create a herd immunity, if that's possible. I'm not a scientist. I'm not saying whether that's what's happening or can happen. I don't know. I'll have to read and study that more. But we do know we're working on a vaccine, and if a vaccine is possible, it's still going to be months out. All we're trying to say here is COVID-19 is a threat and will be a threat. So we have to take this seriously. We have to be responsible. Social gatherings of 10 or more people of any time, an event, a festival, all those kind of things are prohibited by the governor's order through May 29th. Places of worship. We got this news just a few minutes before coming live to you today. This changed just in the last few minutes. Places of worship, you may reopen, but you have to consider limiting capacity to 50%. I have Chief Ainsworth with me just off camera to talk about capacity. We're getting a lot of questions, and we want to be helpful to you to be able to understand what is my place of worship, what is my business, what is my capacity, how many people can be in this place at once without violating the governor's orders. So limit capacity. All of those at-risk persons we're talking about, elderly, newborns, youth, we're talking about daycare. We're talking about child care during worship services. Don't do it. Don't do it. No child care during services. The worshipers, folks coming and attending, need to be wearing face masks. They need to be sanitizing their hands. They need to be taking all those precautions. And also, if they are those at-risk persons, continue to live stream. A lot of churches, a lot of folks are doing their services through live stream now, and that's been a wonderful addition and a big help for us to worship at home without having to worry about getting out into public and there are people that we continually will have to protect throughout this pandemic, especially our elderly. Make sure that you're still offering those virtual worship services for those people, so they don't have to come in. They should not be coming in to that place of worship if they're over age 65. So there are certain guidelines for you to look up at that under this page. Go find those guidelines and know how you can responsibly reopen places of worship. Weddings and funerals are still strongly encouraged to limit attendance. Keep that under 10. Very close family members only. No big parties, no celebrations with hundreds of people and sharing cake and all that kind of stuff. We got to protect our health. Business owners, you're watching right now. Listen up. Your opinion, your ideas are needed by our state government. For us to be able to better serve you in understanding what your needs and concerns are with reopening your business, what sector you're in, how you've been affected by COVID-19, and I know this is a long one. I'm not going to be able to rattle this one off, but the state of Tennessee Economic Recovery Group has a survey live right now, and they need your input, business owners. So here, when we post this graphic, go and grab it. Here is your survey. It'll be right here on this graphic as soon as we get it posted. Business owners, please go complete this survey so that we can get a better idea of what your needs are and how your state government and us, your local government, can best serve you during this time. And you're already following us because you're watching us right here. But those are all of our social media tags. Let's see. Where'd my mouse go? Thank you. All right. Two other things. Well, no. But before we get to those two other things, I will invite Chief Ainsworth to come and share. Since we're talking about our local businesses, we're talking to our business owners specifically. What does capacity mean? What's the capacity of my office, of my business, of my place of worship? And I know that's something that you've been getting a lot of phone calls about. You and your firefighters, your command staff has been really working through. It's not always just posted on the wall. Some businesses have a capacity posted on the wall. Many don't. And so, Chief, if you wouldn't mind, tell our business owners how we're working on this issue now and how they'll be able to better understand how they need to be limiting capacity in their business.
Yes, sir, Manager Sumner. We have received multiple calls and requests today regarding the occupancy load of a business, which coincides with the governor's executive orders. So what this is under the fire and building codes, which we use the 2015 International Fire and International Building Codes. This is the allowed number of occupants that can officially be inside of a commercial building. There's a lot of variances to this. It's based on the square footage. It's based on the occupancy type. Occupancy type varies depending upon the type of business that you're operating. Some of those examples is a mercantile, educational facility. So what we're doing is we're going to help all of our businesses, anybody that inquires about this occupancy load, we're going to help you get that. But we do ask that you reach out to us. Don't try to take a guess at that number. It's very important that that number is accurate because you don't want to overload the amount of folks that you can have in your building for safety concerns. A lot of businesses do have this posted. More specifically, our assemblies. Code does not require it to be posted unless your occupant load is over 50. However, our inquiries today is from citizens and business owners because of the changes and the recommendations for the 50% of your occupancy load. So please feel free to reach out to us. What we're doing here is we're sending either a certified fire inspector or a building official from our codes department out. We'll come out, we will measure out your facility, determine exactly what the square footage is, and then we will utilize factors that is in the code book that tells us, based on the occupancy type, how to figure out how many people can be in there. Today, a lot of our communications has been with local beauty salons, and everybody's understanding to how we're getting these numbers. When we do this, we will also give you an official document with it stamped and posted, the number of exits that your building has, as well as the number of occupants that you're allowed to have in there. Then at this point, it will be your responsibility as a business owner to determine what 50% of that is. Simply divide it by 2. But our document is going to have the official number of what code says you are allowed to have inside your business, and then you're responsible for determining what 50% of that is. Our staff at the fire department, as well as our building officials, they'll all be readily identified with identification from the city or their uniform. Our staff will come out. They'll probably be wearing masks and other protective equipment. They'll come in your business. We'll measure them out, and then we'll determine the numbers. In turn with that, we will get the form and have to bring it back to you, because that document is signed by myself as well as our building inspector, and we ask that it be displayed in your business. Even if your business is under the occupant load of 50 as the code requires, I still highly encourage you to have this posted. Let the public know that you're taking those proactive measures to make sure you're getting these numbers correctly. So anything that we can do, any assistance we can offer, if you want our help with getting this number, you can reach out to us at Athens City Hall at 423-744-2700, extension 5. Of course, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Again, we've had several inquiries today, and I want to commend those business owners for taking that approach and getting ahead of the curve. These businesses are not open yet, but they're being proactive and being prepared for when they do open. And so I've had a lot of good communications today with several businesses, and they're very appreciative to the fact that we're trying to offer this assistance and help them. We're not going to just give them a number and say, here's what your number is, go by this. I want it posted on an official document that's officially signed by me as the fire marshal, as well as somebody from our buildings and codes department.
I think that'll be very helpful, and I appreciate you and your staff and community development for getting together, coordinating. I know we're usually pretty thin around here with the City of Athens staff, and so for y'all to be able to turn on a dime and be able to offer this to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our business owners. And again, those business owners reaching out to you proactively to be on the front end to make sure that they're taking care of their customers and they're doing what's expected of them, and playing it safe, following those guidelines. It's because those business owners love their customers. They want you in there. They want you shopping, and we have a really good relationship as customers with our business owners, and we create a lot of loyalty there. But really appreciate what you're able to do to help our business community out during this time as we're looking to reopen. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
All right. A few other announcements before we close, and I know it's the weekend for a lot of folks, and a beautiful weekend ahead. And so I hope you're going to have a wonderful time with your family. Have fun, play, get out in our parks, take a walk along the Eureka Trail, go fishing, take a picnic, but making sure we continue to stay apart, socially distancing from other people. So another way, we heard a great way your city continues to be at work for you during this time. A couple other things as I was out and about earlier today. Took some snapshots and wanted to show you what was going on in your city. So right here is a really good, this is Cook Drive at the intersection of Fry Street, going down to intersect Madison right here. And this has for years and years been just a footpath of pedestrian traffic following along the side of the road. And we knew a while back, we saw that, we had some community members reach out, say, why don't we have a sidewalk there? Said, it's coming, we're working on it, we've got to plan and budget these things. And so we have a public works crew out there today and we'll be out there for the next several days till they get the job complete. But I love this style of, this is my way of engineering, folks. I know the right place to put a sidewalk is where the footpath already is. This isn't a sidewalk that nobody's going to walk down, right? This is going to be a sidewalk that's going to be very highly used. And so we're happy to see that sidewalk going in right there on Cook Drive. And it'll actually complete the sidewalk all the way down Cook Drive. And so we're excited to see that and be able to get that accomplished for our people. And then, this isn't our project, but rather a state project, the Tennessee Department of Transportation, but something I know a lot of people are going to be really, really happy with, seeing Highway 30 reopened, and you can see all 4 lanes of traffic with the turn lane in the center there are reopened, and the finishing touches are being put on that over the next few days, and that'll be completed. The truck and barriers, all of that will be taken away. And another thing that I noticed is the timing on the lights. We've got some concerns through the construction, and it was obviously not prudent to change the timing of lights in the middle of construction. And so now that construction is ending, we have retimed the lights, and I was able to hit green light, green light, green light. I turned to left to come up on Jackson Street and looked straight up, green light, green light, green light. It was incredible. And so that retiming is really going to help folks be able to move even easier through the community. And we really appreciate our Public Works crew for their work, and TDOT for their work getting this job wrapped up and getting this highway reopened on that side of town. I know the businesses down there are going to greatly appreciate that. Underneath this post, you're going to see 2 more posts. Underneath this video, scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see two different posts. You're going to see one that's going to have a better explanation. It's going to be a detailed explanation, not a better explanation, a detailed explanation. The chief's still in the room smiling at me. More detailed explanation of what the chief just explained about that occupancy load, that capacity for our business owners. So just scroll right down, you'll see that. What you'll also see by scrolling down is a press release through our Parks and Recreation Department. That press release is a lengthy one. It's a 2-pager. Be able to read through that. But just the highlights of it. Our pool and splash pad are prepped for opening, but will not be open until we have clear guidance from the CDC and the state on whether it is safely, if we're able to safely reopen those amenities for you. As soon as we're able to do that, we'll be ready for it. We are also adding a new ultraviolet system to our splash pad to help with filtering out. So that ultraviolet light will actually filter out and kill coronavirus, kill a lot of contaminants that may actually be able to get through some of the other filters. So we're going to be adding that for extra protection for our children and our folks using that splash pad. Hopefully we'll be able to get that reopened in the weeks ahead. Our skate park will be reopening with limited capacity, of course, on May 4th. Our playgrounds are going to remain closed until we have better guidance, and until we can get on the backside of this and know that we are safe to reopen those. And unfortunately, I know this affects my household too, is those spring sports, Little League Baseball, softball, all those spring sports are now unfortunately having to be called off. There will be refunds for everybody that's signed up. So you don't have to call up here. We've got your name. We know that you paid money. We will be returning that registration fee to you by check, okay? And so give us until May 17th. May 17th, so give us a couple weeks to get all those checks written and out and mailed to you. But give us a couple weeks. If you haven't got your check by May 17th, then please call us here at the City of Athens, and that is $2,700, and Parks and Recreation is going to be Extension 3. 2,700, Extension 3 for Parks and Recreation. That's all the announcements that I have for you today. We're going to keep a close watch on what these numbers are doing. The spike today, the spike a few days ago, is causing us great concern. And especially as we have, we're wanting our businesses open, we want our people back to work, but we have to be cautious. We have to be safe, and job number one is protecting your health. All right? And we have to do that together. Together, we get through this. Together, we can see the other side. Together, we will be there, and we'll be celebrating post-pandemic. But we need your help. We need you to keep being responsible. And we're going to be here serving you. I hope you have a wonderful Friday night. May God bless you, and may God bless Athens.